Okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I got that. You can always join whatever. Yeah, we always riff. Uh-huh. Perfect. Los whatevers. Oh, nice music, man. Wonder if they can hear us. I figured they could.
World's best gather here.
Nice.
XBL baseball starts now.
It's crushed to the moon, and we're tied.
Picks it up on the second, over to first in time for the double play that ends the inning.
That's gone.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Trying to repeat.
It's good!
It's homeward to the pen! This game is over!
Oh! Crushed! Left field! Off the pole!
Domingo Bell, deep right center field, carrying, and it's gone!
That was hit hard. Left center field. Did she do it again? To the wall!
Swung on Bell to the deep left field. Is this baby gone? A grand slam!
Champion! The AAA World Series is over! What a line shot!
I can't believe my eyes.
XBL's AAA has reached the pinnacle of its 9th edition as two of the league's most talented players storm onto your screens tonight. No foe could stand the heat as our first finalist sweat and stormed his way to punch an early ticket to the dance on the back of an all-around attack that left jaws on the floor. Opposite, a pitching first foe who, when pitted against the league's most explosive, has shut them down time and time again, proving themselves as close game specialists. It's Zlatanimal and Los Habaneros taking on Ricks and Las Cerezas de Mexico City. Welcome to the AAA World Series.
All right, welcome in everybody. Nice to see everyone in here again after what feels like a long break now, just being a week with the way the playoffs have been coming at you fast. Now we've got what we've all been waiting for. We've got the AAA World Series on hand with Zlatanimal and his Habaneros against Ricks and his Cerezas and Mist. Without further ado, before we get into anything else, how are you doing tonight, buddy? Good to be here with you again as always.
Really good. God, it feels so long ago. I was so excited for this season, and it really played out so well. Just the field, I mean, the AAA. I mean, both leagues, but just focusing on the AAA here. God, it was such a great season. So, and I'm really happy for these two players. I really like these guys, and let's ball here. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, Mist, by the way, I can't turn you up anymore, so you'll have to do that thing and yell into the mic or whatever. Anyways, yeah, like you said, we've got a great matchup. Two guys that we've been waiting to play for a while now. They've got all of their games in, so it's just at our leisure when we're going to bring them to you for the AAA. After an unfortunate thing yesterday with the XBL, we're able to get this one running tonight. So, yeah, we'll start off with the points. We've got a former XBL player in Zlatanimal dropping down and doing work in the AAA. We've all seen the fact that he's just steamrolled his way through the playoffs, took out really a gauntlet of a lineup where he beat an underseeded Fireball Max, swept him, beat Clutch, who was #1 seed for most of the year, swept him, and then he goes up against that Goliath who broke all the records this year that we saw and sweeps Dynasty. So an incredible run from Zlatanimal so far. And then on the opposite side, you've got Ricks, who's played the likes of Naswad and Eduardo and has had some long series in those, but he's shown, just like Urban said in the intro, really a close game maestro, the way that he can just pull out wins and the way he can stem the tide when it comes to momentum and get it turned back his way.
Yeah, I think Zlatanimal was like a dark horse the whole season. It's only been recently that we had these kind of drop downs coming from the XBL. In the past, it was kind of unthinkable just because there was such a gap. But AAA has improved a lot, and those players that have been at the top got so tough that it's been season after season, drop downs coming down that haven't necessarily looked that great, until we had Dwayne jump up there and grab a title from the 10 slot. But I mean, you got to say, in regular season, didn't really look that great. Was hitting the long ball, but Ricks has a lot of experience, playing in the AAA. He seems like someone who's probably played a ton of PR based on his play style, his pitching. He's a warrior. He's a gym rat. It seems like, obviously a really solid player.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You can tell he's played a lot of PvP, the way he's able to adjust so quickly, and the way that you can tell he's comfortable with his play style. He's got a weird pitch repertoire on a lot of his pitchers, but he makes it work, and it can cause fits for people, just like we saw him cause fits for Eduardo in that semifinals matchup. And the difference between their semifinals was, like we said before, it was a 7-game series in the Eduardo Ricks one, and like you all know, it ended in walk-off fashion, an epic series, definitely the best one we've seen in the playoffs this year, really an all-time classic in the XBL, the way that one ended. And then Zlatanimal, quite the opposite. It was 4 good games against Dynasty, all close, but he was able to get the sweep. And so it's really different the way that Zlatanimal hasn't necessarily been challenged. He hasn't had his back against the wall in any of these series yet, the way Ricks has, and that's something that maybe we'll see deeper in the series. It might play into Rick's hand if this goes into a long series. Just the fact that he's got that experience now throughout the playoffs, and he's going to have more comfort in those situations.
Yeah, there was such a difference between those two series. Zlatanimal was a pretty heavy underdog against Dynasty, although with his pedigree, I don't think anybody was writing him off. And then all those games were close, but the fact of the matter was that he was able to sweep that somehow. I don't know how the hell he did that against somebody who was scoring 12 runs a game, but he hit really well. That's what it was. And then Eddie and Ricks were exactly what we expected it to be from the second that matchup was set, which was basically mirror images, playing PR ball, contact hitting, pitching their butts off, taking you to the deep innings, trying to steal some bags. So that was turned into a really, really epic fun series. Came down to the last pitch in Game 7. So yeah, I think, and we have a third point here, recent AAA parity. So I have something on this. So in season 10, which was the third season of AAA, with the first season I was in the XBL, even though I wasn't in AAA, Wishbone won that season as the 2 seed. So he won AAA as the 2 seed. The next season, Squiggle Jones, with his New York Toe Beans, won the AAA as a 3 seed. Then the following season, Big George as a 2 seed won AAA, and then the next season Ox as a 1 seed won AAA. So there was kind of a guise of parity in the league, only comparing to XBL. But in reality, the people at the bottom, me, Rise and Fall, Snowbird, Joey, Camden Ants, even Ox before season, back in season 11 and 10, didn't realistically have a chance, against M. Bennings and Panther and those guys at the top. But then in season 14 is when kind of the pandemonium broke loose when Blows the Save ended up winning the World Series from the 9 spot. And that kind of exposed, which really was a lot of parity by that time. I think I was kind of middle of the pack already by then. And then last season, when we started having multiple drop downs and nobody knew what was going on, Dwayne ended up winning from the 10 seed, which was, I guess, surprising, but I mean, it wasn't. I guess Mush was the number 1 seed, but it started getting crazy, and then this season it's kind of the same thing. The number 1 seed's already out, so we've got a 2 seed and a 5 seed, and you yourself predicted pretty early on that it probably wouldn't be like a top seed winning because the people in the middle, there's like almost no difference until you get down to like the bottom 1 or 2. So it was pretty wild season.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that the fact that the AAA parity has been so prevalent in the last few seasons, it showed in our playoff preview show. None of us were hardly picking we were picking just as many upsets as we were with the overdog picks, because we just knew in the AAA there is that much parity, and everyone is so equal and they're on equal footing. And like you said, we don't have a 1 seed in this tournament left right now. It's a 2 seed and a 4 seed, and that shows that you can win it from any seed. Just like you said, Blows the Save won it from a lower seed, Dwayne won it from a lower seed. And that shows you can't count out a lower seed in the World Series at all, no matter if you're facing 1, 2, 3, whatever. These guys are both relatively high seeds, but the seeds have shown to not matter near as much as compared to the XBO, where you're getting a lot of 1, 2 seeds pretty often just because of the gladiators that are up there. So yeah, it'll be an exciting series, and it'll be impossible to tell. It's really strong pitching with a decent bat against really strong batting and a decent pitching is what I'd say. Like one of them master in pitching and the other one Zlat showed that he can really put in some work at the plate. So it's going to be a pretty intense matchup on that end, and we'll see if Zlat can adjust to the awkward pitching style of Ricks, and we'll see if Ricks can get that contact swing going, get that RNG on his side. He doesn't have near as much power as Zlat, but he showed he had a run rule game in the best of 7 series over there. So yeah, we'll get this underway here in a second. I'm hoping for a long series. We're hoping for some classics. Of course, every time we boot it up, we're hoping for some ninth inning dramas. So y'all give me a minute. I actually forgot to clip the screen, so it's going to take me a second longer whenever I switch it over. But yeah, we're going to get it started. We got the AAA World Series. This is what we've all been waiting for. Let's get it underway. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Got a new monitor, had some issues. Now we're up. Let me make sure the audio and everything's good. Audio turned up. All right, and we're in. loading in for Zlatanimal versus Ricks, AAA World Series. Let's get this thing going. Excited to see where it goes.
Yes, CU Dad would seem to kind of play to Zlatanimal's favor, possibly being a bit of a smaller stadium. Very colorful stadium, nice stadium.
There we go, now the audio should be working. Yeah, I think CU Dad could definitely play to Zlat's favor just with the fact that Ricks doesn't have a whole lot of power in his lineup. Or he's got power stat-wise, but, you know, with the contact swing, it can definitely hurt you in that sense. And we're going to see the home team on the mound, Las Cerezas, Goldie Franks, the ace, starting off for the AAA World Series for him, who had a pretty good series in the semifinals. And we know that Ricks is someone that'll make you be patient at the plate, and that's something Zlat excels at. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Ricks. He's going to have to find the zone earlier than he might be used to.
Yeah, this is a good pitcher for Ricks here. Carries that slider, which we know he loves. And then he's got 4 other options there. No cut fastball, one of the more popular pitches. But because Ricks throws that slider so well, doesn't necessarily need the cut fastball.
Yeah, definitely loves to use the slider. And against someone with the batting prowess of Zlatanimal, you got to make sure you locate it. And definitely Ricks is someone that can locate that consistently. But even 1 or 2 mistakes and you're sending it over the wall on that pitch, the slider is something that can definitely be taken advantage of. And we're rocking with no crowd noise. Zlat really locked in for this series, I guess.
Pulling a Ted Danson on us. What the heck?
Yeah, R.I.P. Ted Danson while we're talking about it. And there's the first hit of the AAA World Series on a curveball up high. We get a single with 2 outs. Papa Dingleberry up to the plate with the runner on. Pitch location will be huge. You can't have any games like we saw Ricks and Eddie in that series have a game or two where they really laxed on their location and it led to a couple run rules. And same on Ty versus Zlat. It seemed like those last 2 games, they didn't care where the ball went. They just put them right in the middle of the zone, and they ended up being nearly 20-run games. But in the World Series, you can't have mistakes. One game can swing the momentum so much. Really got to lock in your location.
Yeah, and as we know, the more pressure you put on yourself by giving up walks and base runners, the harder it gets to locate.
Gets him chasing there. We'll see if he can get him at first. He's got good speed. And after 2 runners get on with a walk and a single, a clean inning for the Cerezas to start. And now we'll see Dulce de Leche come up to the plate to lead off the World Series in the first ever appearance for the Cerezas and Ricks.
Yeah, and that's what we saw out of Ricks versus Eddie, right? Wiggling out with a couple runners on constantly. So a typical start for Ricks there.
Yeah, definitely someone that's comfortable with people on the bags. And we're going to see Bob Ross, the well-known Bob Ross, who's had a very good playoffs so far. We'll see the difference in bullpen management as well, as we've seen Zlat run starters out there 100 pitches deep. Ricks is much more likely to bring in the pen. And he's going to start off with a single there off of a high curve, just like we saw on the other side. A couple of high curves lead to the first hit for the World Series on both teams.
Yeah, curves aren't necessarily the best thing, much like Eddie, to throw to Ricks, because those are pitches he can kind of contact punch out there. So I think Zlat's going to have to maybe monitor the number of curveballs and where they're located even more so.
Oh, and a dive, and he's going to get the double play. The
Brutal.
catcher makes an incredible dive from behind the plate to get an early double play. Stymie an early opportunity for Ricks to small ball run across and take the lead. A lot of times you see the catcher drop that.
That's true. That's true. A lot of them carry the Butterfingers trait, thinking that it's not going to be a big deal on the catcher, but it definitely can be.
Right, and it hurts even more now as we see a good double right there, which could have possibly scored a run without that double play. And that left field is something you're not going to be able to take many bags on the Habaneros. We know he's got that cannon arm out there. Interesting to have it in left field, but we'll see if it pays off for him in the series.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad to have it in left field, but it is funky for sure. You usually think center, possibly right, or shortstop.
Right. Yeah, I think anywhere in the outfield it's viable. You're just not going to see. He might be the only one who has it on in left field. There's a missed changeup, and he's going to belt that one to center field. And we should see the first run of the World Series. A 99 throw. It's going to be close. He's able to get there and then comes back to first. And we've seen a very first inning. We see one run come across for the Cerezas.
Yeah, and you know what, Uni? I'm sure you would agree. The worst thing you can do against a contact hitter is mislocate off-speed pitches.
Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly what they're able to do with them. Poke them into shallow outfield over and over. And that one's actually got good power on it, but it's not going to have enough over there and right. Oh, he almost miscalculates it. But not before the Cerezas get one run across. And in their home stadium, take the lead before the end of the first inning. And there's a hanging slider.
A little drama out of the habaneros out there, but they get the job done.
And early on, that double play already mattered because it could have been 2 runs, if not 3. Fastball hitter, he chases the 2-seam. Third baseman's able to make the dive over there, as you car. And we've seen a couple of diving plays so far already. But a dislocated shoulder, not what you want to see early on from one of your better players.
Wow. Yeah, you know, another interesting aspect here, Unicorn, is these two really aren't that familiar with each other, partly because Lat was up in the XBL, but they're not sure what they're facing here.
Right. Yeah, early on in this series, it's going to be a lot of, I think, reading and feeling each other out, seeing exactly what works and what doesn't work. Then we're going to see a real, a lot more, what's the way to say it? Like a particular type of gameplay in game 3 and 4 after you figured out what works and what doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Right now, neither of them has confidence. They're just kind of seeing what's there.
Right. They're probably going to throw a little bit of everything at him and see how the other guy reacts. We've got some chases on cutters or on 2-seams early on from Zlatanimal. Big miss. There's 2 outside the zone. Another early hitters count. We'll see this pretty often from the Cerezas, and when you get in a 3-0 count for him, a lot of times, yep, he's going to give you a strike right after, and then he's going to make you battle for a second one. Watches 2 good pitches, and now we got a full count with 2 outs.
It won't be a strike. Oh, got a corner, I think.
Yep, left fielder's able to get there, and now after putting up 1, another clean inning for the Cerezas, off to a good start.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic pitch. I do believe that was a strike, and it was a great swing from Zlat. But that was the type of pitch it's awfully hard to do anything but poke a single on.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's a big deal for Ricks to not get down early in these games because he doesn't have the same sort of firepower as Zlatanimal.
Right.
Oh, a big shot to right field, and yeah, that's going to find the stands, and we've seen a little bit of power now out of Ricks. Something that he's not exactly known for, but he sends that one 432 with choo-choo rails and an early 2-0 lead. A lot of pressure already building for Zlatanimal on the other side. And Bob Ross tense, the ace on the mound, struggling in his first ever World Series appearance.
Yeah, this is what Rick needs to do: is get ahead here to give him. He needs, like you said, he needs a cushion because Zlat's not going to be quiet.
Zlatanimal not finding the zone quite as aggressively as he normally does as well, and now he walks one on after a leadoff home run.
Yeah, and you don't want to be walking, You can't give Ricks free bases.
And there's a steal, a hit and run, and it's going to work. He's going to send him all the way to third. It's a good throw. It's not going to be there in time, and we've got runners at the corners with no outs and a little bit of early danger here for the Habaneros as they're already down 2, and they've got no outs with danger on the base pass.
Wow.
We know that the Habaneros don't like going to their bullpen early, but Bob Ross is getting banged up here already in the second. Needs to find a way to stymie the Tide.
It's going to take a lot to get Zlat to pull Bobby Ross out of here. I tell you that right now. So, but on the same token, Ross needs to come up with something here.
Oh, and the pitcher hits into a
That
double
might have
play.
been
He
it.
sends it home, and it's going to be late.
Oh, no.
Maybe the nerves feeling the lead already.
Oh.
Growing, he sends it home and not able to get it.
You know what I think happened there, Uni? I think he was thinking double play all the way. And when the ball came off slower than he thought, he kind of panicked and went home. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
instead of throwing to first, which is what he should have done, he thought, well, I'll just take the one at home plate, but that was not happening.
Right. And now we're still left with no out. So there's another pop-up bunt. A slide missed this time.
Boy.
And uh-oh. 3-0 early, no outs, bases loaded. Now we've seen a missed slide from the infield after a great one from the catcher last inning. And the Cerezas take advantage as they put one up the middle. It's going to be a slow roller. He's got no speed coming around third, holds him there. And a little bit of uh-oh situation already for the Habaneros. A big hit here, and you're already approaching run rule type of territory.
Yeah, I think we're looking at singles coming here, not the long ball, but this is looking a lot like Eddie versus Ricks all of a sudden.
Rattled now is Bob Ross. Pokes that one perfectly for the third baseman to be able to pull a double play, but he's got speed coming down the base path, and he scores one and saves himself from a double play.
Boy, that was a really tough one, Unicorn, as to what do you do with the ball when you get it.
Don't talk too much about the lack of power as it's deep
Oh,
left
no!
field, and we see a 3-run shot for Ricks and his Cerezas. 8-0
Oh, boy.
in the second inning.
Brutal. The big man really leaned into that one.
Wow, what a start from the Cerezas, truly coming out and making a statement early on, showing why he's the 2 seed. He should be the overdog. Some people may think Zlatanimal is the favorite in this series, the way he's destroyed the AAA in the playoffs, but wow, Ricks has made a statement here in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, and any of that talk is now being scuttled away someplace really deep. Rick's just looking fantastic here out of the gate.
Yeah, you can't hope for a better start. He keeps in Dizzy here, who's completely hurt. Doesn't have a better option on the bench. And even he can get a hit over there with hardly any stats, and everything is going right for the Cerezas as they still only have 1 out.
Yeah, at this point, Bobby's got to
Done
go.
it once.
There he goes.
Choo-choo Rails in the game here, a home run, and it's already a run rule.
Number 20.
Wow.
Billy
Wow.
Bob Thornton.
You know, if I'm Zlat, I'm not going to panic here. Things have just everything is unraveled, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. Maybe because we really like Zlat and the way he handled Dynasty, but I wouldn't be in panic mode at all here.
Zlat knows that he can put up runs on his own, but 8 in the second is better than being down 8 in the 8th, I guess. He knows he has time, but you got to get out of this inning here. Billy Bob Thornton has to come in and at least give the offense a chance to get back out there and see some action. And Choo-Choo Rails has a good hit, and now every single at-bat gets sketchier and sketchier as you're 2 runs from that threshold. And you've got the heart of the order coming up. RBI Hero will be engaged.
Yeah, you can't give these contact hitters confidence up there because they'll just pound away on you, and that's what's happening. Right now, you just got to get out of here no matter what.
Yeah, and you see why the Habaneros like to stick to their starter. Look at Billy Bob Thornton's stats when he comes in. Not a strong reliever.
No, has some accuracy, but going to be tough.
Another danger hit. Is he going to hold him at third, or is he going to send him? He gets aggressive. He sends it to third and gives up the run at home.
Oh, my.
You might want to get aggressive in that situation and send it home because of the lead, but now we're just 1 run away from this game being over in the very first game of the World Series. Holy, this is not what we were expecting.
And this is where low velo hurts you. It's hard to get out of this once the momentum is crushing you. You know what I mean? Like, you need that fastball to put some pressure.
Right. Especially versus a contact swinger. Low velo is not something that's difficult to handle. And there's a good hit to left field. Is he going to be able to track it down in time? He gets there, and he sends it to second. No, he sends it to third with his cannon arm. And now we see 2 outs, and this is a huge at-bat for Goldie Franks up to the plate. A chance to end the game before he even has to go back out and throw another pitch, save his shoulder.
Yeah, and for the moment, it's not about winning this game for Zlat. What you want to do is get back in this one way or another.
And you don't want a demoralizing pitcher hit to end it all here.
You don't want to give him that momentum of anything crazy.
And
If
there
you can
is a
get this-
pitcher hit, Goldie Franks,
Oof.
and he's going to send him home and
Oh
go for
my
the win here.
God.
It's a good throw, but it's not going to be enough, and it's dropped anyways. And wow, in the second inning, just like that, we just began the World Series, and it's already a 1-0 lead, and Ricks, in his first ever World Series, makes a huge statement. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
There's hardly anything to talk about the way that just came and went in 2 innings. The game's over.
That's insane. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it does happen against those types of players or against anybody really, but I think we're going to see a totally different game in the next one. I mean, that I'm not going to say it was fluke, but it was just, momentum.
Yeah, once things started going right for the Cerezas, the tide did not turn at all. The Habaneros could not get it switched over. And okay, just like that, we're going to roll into game 2. Just give us a second to get everything switched over. After an incredible performance from the Cerezas to start off the series, we'll see if the Habaneros have an answer. Hello, everybody. We're back after a short little break and after an outstanding, unexpected display from the Cerezas, displaying power, displaying momentum and how to play with it and how to take advantage of the opportunity and not let it slip. He ends the game in 2 innings, and now the Habaneros, for the first time in these playoffs, have a loss. And now they've got to figure out how they can handle it and how they can adjust, as that's a new sort of territory that they haven't had to deal with this entire AAA World Series run.
It's kind of interesting that Ricks chose Ciudad as his stadium. That doesn't seem like it really plays to his style, but he just absolutely went off there. And now we go to the home of the Habaneros here, which is kind of an odd ballpark, typically banned by the XBL, but has been opened up starting with Super Mega Baseball 4. And I think it was a great decision. This is going to be an interesting game here at Big Sky.
Yeah, Big Sky can definitely play a little bit weird. I know I had a couple home runs robbed from it during the season, but what is tough for the Habaneros, especially more than the Cerezas, is a double play. The hit and run ends up hurting the Cerezas, and after everything went right in game 1, your first chance to see a little bit of RNG go his way, it goes the wrong way. But anyways, the ace on both teams came out, obviously, in game 1, and Bob Ross got messed up. And for the Habaneros, you see their second guy, Red Savina, they don't have a whole lot of strength in their starting rotation outside of Bob Ross. So the Ricks is going to see 3 straight pitchers in this series that are pretty weak compared to the Habaneros, who are going to see Ricks has decent starters all the way up and down.
Yeah, and these mid to low velo pitchers are really not what you want to be throwing against Ricks. Which the translation is that Zlatanimal he needs to quit horsing around here, and he needs to start hitting. Period.
Yeah, he's got to take a lead early. Like we said, the Cerezas are much better playing from ahead than they will be playing from behind, which is true for anyone, but true more so for a pitching specialist who also hits contact. Zlat's able to come back a little bit easier typically. So if you're the Habaneros here, you don't want to let the Cerezas get up early and put you in that situation where you've got to hit their really expert level pitching. I think no doubt in my mind, though, Zlatanimal's going to respond. This game is not going to be a run roll. There's no shot that Zlatanimal walks through the AAA just pushing everyone to the side, making it seem like child's play, then just accepts the fact that he gets run rolled in Game 1 of the World Series. Maybe it was a little bit of the fact he's had a decent amount of waiting period because of that 7-game series he had to wait on.
It could be. Could be. Hard to say. Yeah. Has been a different player so far.
Yeah, Ricks is definitely, you could assume he's a lot more warmed up just because of the fact, but when these games were played, he had just gotten out of his series with Eduardo while... Oh my, now he sees Zlatanimal hit a nuke to right field, and there we go. Zlatanimal wakes up just in the first inning. He shows what he's capable of as he sends that one 450 into the right bleachers. And hello, Habaneros. Welcome to the World Series.
Yes, small ballpark, and that's the one area that is very deep with a high wall. And he went at least 10 rows beyond that.
Yeah, what a nuke. And now Zlat, that helps his confidence. Just seeing one leave the bat with that sort of velocity, now okay, yeah, I can bat like this, I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
And Crescent over there at second, who we saw pretty much be the all-star of the field in that last series with how many putouts he had, puts one away there for the second out of the inning.
And once again, we see a 5-pitch slider setup here for Ricks, and gets out of it there, but gives up the 2, which is, again, the 2 runs is big, but more so the confidence.
Right. Yeah, but when you think about confidence, you just gave up a 2-run shot, but you also just saw yourself run roll someone who's been a gladiator so far in the AAA playoffs, so his confidence has went down, but it was sky high going into Game 2, I'm sure.
Yeah. If you're Ricks, right now nothing has changed. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, hit like you did last game. I mean, the RNG helped him a little bit because you saw a lot of singles get through gaps, but he also displayed that power and the fact that contact swinging can send balls over the wall, and that was at a bigger stadium. Now you've got Big Sky. Just make the same sort of contact, and you're going to see balls in the stands.
Yes, certain areas of Big Sky are you can almost pop the ball up and get it out of there. There is a few areas that are tough, but the lines are not one of those.
A good changeup on the outside there, and now a quick inning from the Habaneros, and that's exactly what you want after putting up 2 runs. Get a quick inning, get off the mound, and get those bats up to the plate while you're locked in. Caroline Reaper, a fastball hitter. Sees a slider up high, watches it. A hittable pitch, but now we got an 0-2. Already tense on the mound is lefty Tabernacle. Gets him chasing, something that Zlat did in that first game early on, chasing on the 2-seam. Gets another one there. We'll see if Ricks has noticed that he can expose him a little bit on that moving fastball out of the zone. Slider comes in on the hands, not able to take advantage of it. Now we're in a 2-2 count. Ooh, slider barely misses. And that one's got 90 power. There's a big wall over there in left field. Is it going to get it? No, it falls at the warning track, not able to bounce it off of the wall there. But once again, you see a good swing from the Habaneros. Very contrasting jerseys here. Completely dark out. Then we got the straight white out for the Habaneros. A good slider on the outside edge, and that's what you want to happen there. Roll over that outside slider, and now we've seen a clean second inning, and this one's already went further than the last one. Wow, we're in the third inning. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's exactly where you want to throw the slider. It can't be just out, it can't be just off the plate like a cut fastball. You need to get it about 6 inches off, because that's where chasing can get you in trouble.
Yeah, you can definitely poke a slider right off the zone for singles, but if you get it way off the zone, that's what that pitch is made for, no doubt. Savina locked in. Not as strong as Bob Ross on the mound, but having a much better outing here.
It's interesting that this is the number 2 for the Hobbs. It really isn't a strong pitcher. Does have a pretty nice arsenal, but not as good as Ross's was. And then the middling with the weak junk is pretty questionable in this league.
Yeah, definitely not a normal type of pitcher build. It's gotten him this far. He's going to have to, no matter the stats, do better than Bob Ross did.
Yeah, and he might be mixing velos. Maybe he'll come with velo in game 3, but I mean, tack on Wild Thing. This really is not a strong pitcher.
Doing well so far as he's got 3 quick innings with no runs given up, and we've got 2 hits to 1 hit, but yet Zlat is up 2-1 after he got the walk and then the home run. And now we see Red Savina up to the plate trying to help himself out. Stats are a little bit there because of the locked in, but your typical pitcher build with pretty much 0-0-0 across the board. Good swing there from the pitcher, but sends it foul to the left side. Is he going to find the netting? Oh, jumps for it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 0-0-0 on the pitchers. You can get a lot of mojo from getting hits with pitchers.
Yeah, I ran 0-0-0, but for the cup, I went ahead and went 30-30-30. It's only about 500 per for each of those slots, 30-30-30, I noticed. So, to me, worth it. I didn't do it on my weak relievers that I only plan to have in for an inning or 2, but on the relievers I expect to go some distance, yeah, sure, why not? Give them 30-30-30. You know they're probably going to see an at-bat, if not 2.
Yeah, that's what I figure is your top relievers and your starters should probably be pretty much 30-30, and then your SPRP and your CP, if you've got the money, fine.
That one floats forever as it finds the left field, and now we've got the number 2 hole up. And there's a slider that missed a little bit, and he made good contact putting it into center field. Finally takes advantage of one. And now we see a base runner on for the first time in a couple innings. And now Habanero, who's got the home run, the absolute nuke last time up. We'll see how many pitches he gets to here after the danger he posed last time at the plate.
Yeah, he's one spicy hitter, I'll tell you that right now.
And that's probably the exact compliment that Zlat wants. Spicy. Ooh, barely misses. Looks like he's not going to give him any pitches. Gives him one there. We'll see how aggressive he gets.
Still pretty tough, but yeah, that's probably the best he's going to get.
And a hittable pitch there coming into the zone, but not able to take advantage of it. And now both teams back-to-back innings of shutout baseball. And we see Wayne Crescent coming to the plate. We'll see if the Cerezas can finally get some activity on the base pass and get something going after we saw him put up 10 in 2 innings in that game 1.
Yeah, you know what, Uni, based on the Dynasty series and then based on game 1 here, you would think that Zlat's not much of a pitcher. This isn't true. I think Zlat could possibly start digging in. I don't think he's quite at Ricks's level, but Zlat is not a bad pitcher. I think the Dynasty series just turned into an offensive series.
Yeah, we
Which
saw
we
him
expected.
locating incredibly well, and when you play tie, even if you locate, he's going to put up like 8 runs on you.
Yeah, and then you can't locate because it's just
Right,
being
so in
pulled,
your
right?
head.
You can't move the ball.
Yeah, any pitch you throw to tie, that's a strike. You just know there's an opportunity for it to be hit. And there's a good hit up center, and now we see
That
some
was a good
base
hit.
path activity. Cereza's reach on a really tough pitch on the outside corner, well placed, but he puts it up the middle, the only thing he can do with it. And now we got Bengata up to the plate. Catcher, decent stats across the board on his hitting and his speed. Uh-oh, and there's a double play ball. Is he going to get it? And he does, and now
Wow.
we see Zlat get out of a base runner on situation. And this game looking much more clean on the field and from the pitchers, as it's only 2-0 going into the bottom of the 4th.
We welcome Schnabel, Oxbox, and Spliff Star into the chat here.
Yeah, nice to see Ox and Spliff. I haven't seen y'all in the chat in a minute. What's up, boys? Always nice to see Schnabel in here.
Snapes.
Oh, that's a weak changeup, 96 power, but he gets just under and it floats it to center field, a danger pitch. But it doesn't end up having any issues, and now we've got low pitch engaged for Rip Bonga. We'll see if he gets one down there.
Yeah, and you can put it out to dead center here. You see that little bit of a dip in the wall there. that can be a hitter's friend at times.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that multiple times in this series, Zlat's going to find that center field grassy area.
Yeah, and like I said, left field, you can basically pop it up and get it out there, but you do have to clear that high wall.
I think we're seeing a little bit of impatience at the plate on both sides as they're getting shut out from the mound. We're seeing a little bit more chases than we're used to seeing. And the pitchers have really locked in here in game 2.
Yeah, one thing is that first game was so short, Uni, that they didn't really get the normal, usually by the end of game 1, you kind of have felt out your opponent as to what their strengths and weaknesses and what pitches to throw. Are they going to run? I don't think they felt anything out because it ended so quickly. So now they're still kind of grab bagging as to how to play their opponent.
Right, and especially in this series where we discussed how these two guys really are pretty unfamiliar with each other. A short game like that in game 1, you practically have to go all the way through game 3 now to really get comfortable on what you're facing. And if you're Zlatanimal, you don't want to be down 2-0 and still trying to get an exact grasp of how you can play against Ricks. This is a big early game 2 for Zlatanimal right here, and he is showing up as he gets another clean inning after another double play inning. And now he's back up to the plate. We'll see if he can finally get a run after 3 scoreless innings. It's going to be the back end of his lineup up with Capsicum to start. Then we got a couple of batters, including the pitcher, right after him. Seeing some stamina loss from Tabernacle here. About to be his 60th pitch.
Got speed leading off here. Would love to get a runner on.
Oh, we've seen that fastball on the outside right there pretty often for the first strike for the Cerezas, but Zlatanimal has not chosen to swing until he's got at least 1 strike on him. And right there draws a walk, something the Cerezas are willing to do as he tries to get him into a double play spot here, the way that the Habaneros have been doing on their side.
Yeah, that was quite a gift there.
And that one's going to fall down.
Oh, it's going to fall.
And the speed going around third, but he decides to come back. But he does have stealer tray on second. We'll see how aggressive he gets exactly. He's got the pitcher up to the plate. A possible steal and then bunt situation. or maybe just a straight up bunt situation. He's looking at the pin early here.
Yeah, and we did see quite a few running mistakes in that Dynasty Habanero series, as well as they did hit.
Right.
So, you know, and you can't afford that here.
Oh, and that's a great bunt down the third base line. It
Oh,
might
it
be
is.
enough to get the pitcher there. He doesn't even choose to throw it, and now you've got bases loaded situation with no outs. And now,
I think that rolls foul. He
Was it
he
still
needed to
rolling?
reverse. I think it was still rolling.
Oh no, questionable decision from Ricks there, is maybe now he's feeling the pressure. He looks at his bullpen and brings in Glitter Jordan, who's got higher velo, higher junk, with that interesting pitch repertoire, trying to get out of this jam, something he's very accustomed to doing so far. We've seen him in the Eduardo series last time, able to get out of these situations that seem like every single game. But that one's belted to center field.
Oh.
It's going to find the warning track, and it's going to score a run. Dulce de Leche sends it to third, holds the runners there. A good decision to keep the base pass one more behind.
Yeah, and you'll totally take that if you're Rick. You're assuming that run on third is going to score. So to get it out without any more advancement there is gold.
Yeah, and you've got the strongest batters up here, and now he's going to rope on the left field. It's going to find a gap. It's going to score another run. Ricks holds it. Now sends it in, and we've got 2 runs, 4-0 now for the Habaneros as they take a decent lead here, and Habanero is up, who is already had a home run in this game. Not the guy you want to see at the plate in this situation.
Yeah, this is condition critical now. You've got to lock in one way or another.
Gives him 3 balls to start off. And a 4-pitch walk, not wanting to give him another moonshot, but Papa Dingleberry right behind him. Also a very good batter in his own right. Clutch not engaged as it's only the 5th inning, but a huge spot the game doesn't recognize.
Wow.
And there's another single as it bloops into center field. It's going to score 2 runs, and we've got runners on the corner, and now a 6-0 lead for the Habaneros. This one's looking to go the other way, and Rip Bonga with RBI hero engaged. More dangerous than any batter he's seen in this inning.
Wow. And he's been so patient. You got to think he's going to get a hold of one here somehow.
The steal doesn't pay off, though, and that's a huge second out for
no.
Ricks. Oh. And now he's able to walk that batter without as much pressure because he's got 2 outs, only needing 1 out to get out of this. And such a big steal attempt that does not pay off for the Habaneros. I would say somewhat questionable the way that you're hitting this inning. And
Yeah,
nice
massively
catch.
questionable. Yeah, he bailed Ricks out there. I mean, you'll take 6-0, but he bailed Ricks out.
Yeah, he really did. The way he was hitting right there, he got a little bit too aggressive. It was really trying to steal an extra run, and it ends up helping Ricks get out of this. But Ricks has his own work to do. He's got to put up some runs at the plate. Unable to muster anything so far. Here's a missed pitch. Ricks watches it.
Oof.
Good speed, good contact. Not able to find a gap is now the first out. After putting up 4 runs, we'll see if Glitter Jordan stays in there. Being down 6 in the 6th inning, he's looking at the possible pinch hitter situation. We know Ricks has a deep bullpen, and he brings in Jazz Glover. And there's a good hit. Jazz Glover comes in and does his job, does more than he's asked as it hits the left field stands. And we see the first run come across for Ricks and the Cerezas. They finally make a little bit of noise here in game 2.
Yeah, when you're up 6, you can get away with something. That pitch just felt really, really, really bad out of hand, and Ricks is a good enough hitter that you just really can't throw that and get him going.
And a home run like that is more for the momentum than even a normal one because it's a weak batter, and it makes you feel good with the fact that you went ahead and took that reliever out after just 1 inning because the hitter came in and did that. Take advantage of the situation here if you're Rick, see if you can get one. Oh, it doesn't fall though. NA's there. And now we've got 2 outs for Wayne Crescent, the incredible second baseman who had an excellent semifinal series. Good cutter on the outside.
We're not seeing good pitches right at the moment from Zlat.
Yeah, I think it's more of a product of you can see the pressure on the Cerezas and the fact that they're just like that, chasing a little bit more than you're used to with a contact swinger, with Rick's especially as a contact swinger because he's got such a locked-in eye. And that's what big games do. They can crack you a little bit more than you're used to, get you out of your game a little bit more than you're used to. Riggs can't be down 5 or 6 runs here going into the 7th, 8th inning. He's got to make noise in this next inning with some of his stronger batters. 3, 4, 5 coming up to the plate. But right now we've got Zlat at the plate and we've got Shimmy up pitching, a new reliever. We'll see if he's able to hold the lead at 5.
Yeah, I think Rick's just needs to focus on playing well right now. He's already got a little bit of house money after that first win. So now don't look at the scoreboard. Just let's play solid here.
And there's Crescent. Dive Wizard engaged and able to get that out. He's a real vacuum over there at second base, and I agree with what you said, Mist. Being up 1-0 in the series, something like this doesn't bring quite as much pressure as it would if you're already down in the series, because losing this game, it's not obviously as big of a deal as if you were down 1-0. Red Savina, we'll see if he gets one more at bat. Yep, he's going to keep him in, only giving up 1 run through 6 so far. And we know Zlat likes to run the starter out there as long as he possibly can. No reason not to, the way he's pitched. Yeah, he doesn't plan on swinging until 2 strikes. Okay, now we play the game. 3-2 count for the pitcher. Red Savina sees a fastball, and there's Crescent over there at second, able to put another one away. And now after putting up 1, Ricks is able to get a shutout inning. It's only 5-6 on the hits, but 6-1 on the scoreboard. And that shows the real difference in power from these teams. The home run was a big play for Zlatanimal. We've only seen a solo shot so far from the Cerezas. Need to get some activity on the base pass and set up an opportunity to get a couple runs here as the game's getting late. And that's another big shot. Is it going to find the grass in center field? It's carrying far. It's back there, and it's enough. No, it's not. It's robbed in center field from in.
That hurt.
It looked like it was going to go out. Max Vert over there in center field able to snag it.
Oh, and it was borderline the entire time off the bat. You couldn't tell if it was gone or not. What a play by Zlatanimal.
Looked like a center out there grabbing a rebound, got all the way up for that one. And the momentum is not going to switch over yet, as he's able to really make a big play in center field before Ricks is able to get a leadoff home run. He says, no, no, no. And now you've got 1 out, and you're still staring at 5 runs.
Ooh.
A rare walk from Zlatanimal there. Definitely, like you said, not as accurate as we've seen him before with his pitches. Can't get too loose here with the 5-run lead. We've seen Ricks in game 1 put up 8 runs in 1 inning. And that one's belted, but it's going to be a little bit under the ball. No need to jump this time. Puts it away in center field. Locked in now after that incredible play at the wall. Choo-Choo Rails, who had a home run in game 1 up.
And it's like I said, these are good swings from Ricks. That this is what he wants. You know, he can't control the RNG or luck or the ball being hit at somebody or somebody making a jumping catch at the wall. But he can control getting on some balls, which it seems like he did pretty well there.
Yeah, that's something with contact. It takes a little bit of help from the game. You can only do so much because even if you belt one with contact and really reticle it, it's, I'm pretty sure, isn't it like a random power generated thing on contact swings?
Yeah, I think it's closer to yeah, I mean, it always is, but I think it's more of a middling thing. Like you're getting about 70%, whereas somebody power swinging could potentially get as high as 99%, which is, you know, not saying you're getting that all the time, but that can be a pretty big difference.
Right. Bad ball hitter engaged, chases one there, but it's not going to matter. Now we've got a 1-1 count. Shimmy has done a good job since coming into the game, shutting out the habaneros, and here's another clean inning from him on the mound. But now we're down to the last 2 opportunities for Ricks and his Cerezas. Only 5 hits in the ball game. Wild Child coming up. First pitch player engaged, looking to make something happen and get some base activity early.
Yeah, and you knew she was taken there. She wants that full that full reticle.
Yeah, unless they're good enough stats despite first pitch prayer, I'm pretty much always belting a fastball in there when I see first pitch prayer.
Right. And some of them do that. I know I have a player that can definitely handle even with it, but it's still not the same thing.
Right. I've got one as well, but a lot of times I use first pitch prayer to kind of slow myself down. And if I think maybe I'm chasing a little bit and I'll have a bad habit of that, when first pitch prayer guy comes up, it's kind of just a mental note. Okay, be more patient. It's okay to take the first strike no matter who you have at the plate.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the roster tool. Everybody plays different. And there's a swing on a changeup that looked like it was going to
good
find the
pitch.
zone and had a nice bite at the end of it to fall out of the zone and gets him swinging. Shimmy, who's done good on the mound, is up. Probably going to see pulled because we're in the 8th inning now. And you're only down to 4 outs left in the ball game if you can't get runs across.
Yeah, Hobbs still has the SP up there. We kind of talked bad about, but at the same time, from the beginning, has pretty much owned it.
Yeah, weak curveball there. Savina's definitely done a great job on the mound for being a much weaker pitcher than the ace we saw in the first game. But that could be a product of the fact Bob Ross had that velo, which is able to get more power on it from the batter's side, and we saw a couple of home runs early in that game. Not as much power so far we've seen. And now we've got the batter with a broken neck questioning the ump before pitch is even thrown. And now he looks at the pitcher and watches the first one go. 1-0. And the screwball is introduced into the game, something that has yet to been seen in this series, and he's able to get a pop out. And now we're going into the bottom of the 8th. Cerezas need another clean inning here. Don't let the lead grow. Fisherman Fisher is up. Saw him nearly every single game in the Eduardo series.
Yeah, and this is almost getting to a point of how much do you want to show your relievers. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Like
after you didn't have to show anything in game 1, now do you really want to show everything in game 2?
Right. I would think this reliever stays in there unless there's a real reason to pull him out.
Rip Bonga, dangerous batter up. RBI Hero is not going to be engaged, but sitting on low pitch. We'll see if he gets one. You know, Zlat looks like he wants it. 4 high pitches in a row. 5 high pitches in a row, and now we're on a full count. Still sitting low with the reticle. And a walk.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 25.
Slider misses. Fisherman Fisher trying to get out of this inning clean. Give his team a chance on the other side.
Off pitch.
Great locations, able to get a pop out to right field, and now one more out is needed before we see the last gasp effort for Ricks and his Cerezas down 5. Zlat pushes another one to right field, a decently struck ball, but not going to be enough. And now here comes the final chance for the Cerezas in the top of the 9th. Only 6 hits so far through 8 innings. You would think needs to at least mirror that and get 6 more hits here to tie this game minimum. A weak grounder, and that's not going to do it as Wayne Crescent gets out, but we're going to see 3, 4, 5 up if he can get to it. These are the batters you want up whenever you're down in the 9th. Still seeing some loose location, but it's actually working as there's another grounder weak to the infield, and now only one out away from evening the series. The Habaneros really locked in game 2 so far. Complete opposite display at the plate from Ricks as we saw in game 1, and there's a chase, and now we're an 0-2 count, 2 outs. Could be the final pitch of the game here.
Yeah, and what was I saying, Unicorn? Zlat can pitch. It's been a little bit of a tough row for him lately with Ty and in game 1, but I mean, 1 run here.
Right, only gives up 1 run, and that's all. And he's able to put 6 across himself, and now we see the series tied 1-1, just like that. Rick's with a run rule early on in the first game, and the Habaneros come right back and answer the call after losing their first game in the AAA playoffs. They go ahead and show you that they deserve to be here as well. And they're able to get the series tied, and now we're looking at more than a 4-run series, and that's all you can hope for in the World Series. You don't want to sweep or anything.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance on both sides. First game was real quick, but I mean this one was just as dominant by Zlat, even if it went a lot longer. Rick's never really showed much, didn't really threaten to win the game in any way. So this is what we want out of a World Series: is 2 really good teams that deserve to be there. Tit for tat. One player goes off one game, the next one can't get anything going. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and I think that's baseball, the way that the momentum can swing from game to game. The way they say your momentum in baseball only goes as far as your next day's starter. And we saw Bob Ross get roughed up in the first game. And then in game 2, we see Savina come out and completely lock down the Cerezas and only hold them to 1 run, and it was that pinch hit home run that we saw. Then we saw that great rob in center field, or it could have been 2-6, but hard to judge the rest of the series after you see 2 like this. I feel like you can almost judge more on the second game because the first one almost felt kind of fluky, the way everything just went right for Ricks. The way he was able to run roll in just 2 innings, that's rare. Any matchup in this league, no matter who it is, 2-inning run rule is just not something you're going to see very often. So it's hard to base anything off of that. And then we see Zlat show that he's a stronger pitcher than displayed in that first game. And then putting up 6 runs is on par with what he did during the season. 6 runs can get him wins. And that's the same for both sides. I think the pitching is really going to be what matters here because both guys are going to be able to score. But it's going to be who can get the batter's eye a little bit off, who can get the timing off, especially Rick's throwing towards Zlatanimal and his power. So, yeah, hard to say a lot about game 1, but game 2 I think showed a lot for the fact that Zlat is a great pitcher, and he's not going to get destroyed like that in 2 games.
Yeah, and I think the key was it wasn't Zlat shutting him down with a monster pitcher. It was Zlat shutting him down with really about the worst pitcher you could have in AAA, other than having a bit of accuracy. But middling velo, weak junk, that won't get it done. Very often unless you're really pitching well. But it goes to show you, this is you look at Luke and those people. Sometimes it doesn't matter what the pitcher theoretically has if you're on your game, and Zlat was on his game there.
Yeah, and I think we definitely
both of them were in the split.
Right, and I think we definitely saw. Yeah, I guess I should change that to 1-1 on the split, but it's too late now in the bottom corner. But I think more than the location itself, Zlat wasn't super crisp on his location. He was a little bit iffy. We saw a lot of 70s and 80s on the pitching minigame, but I think what he did really well was mix up his pitch types, mix up his pitch locations, and that can really stymie any location issues you have as long as you're mixing your variety on the plate really well and you're mixing your pitch style really well. You can bother anybody with that. And I think that he was kind of figuring out what worked a little bit against Ricks right there. And like we've said multiple times, they don't know each other's game very well. And I think we saw Zlat adjust incredibly fast. They're both high IQ players. now we're going to see whenever we get this next stream going, maybe over the weekend, we'll see if Ricks can adjust and try to take another lead in the series as he's going to go back to his home stadium. But so far, both home teams win, and we've got exactly what you want to see through 2 games in a World Series. We've got a split. So, Miss, do you have any last comments or anything about the game? Anything about tonight before we jump off of here?
I still think the small parks play to Zlat's advantage because it's that this wasn't really an offensive start to the series. At the same time, Rick's hit a couple nice bombs, so I guess you could look at the reverse of that, which is the smaller parks. You can hit it out with contact hitting. So I don't know. I just think it was 2 really good games. Not really shocked by that at all. None of us knew what to expect with these 2 because it was kind of like watching 2 totally different semifinals going in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of like Zlat going in. Now I'm kind of confused. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the same for me as well. I kind of was leaning towards Zlat's got a chance to make this only a 4 or 5 game series, which a 5 game series is still in the picture. But when you see Ricks do what he did in the first game, now you kind of question everything you thought about Zlat because Ricks is such an interesting type of player and he just plays so much different than anybody else. And it was a great split, a great start to the series. We're going to have more coming at y'all. We've got, I believe, all of the games already in hand recorded, so whenever we get free time to be in the booth, we're going to run them to you. But I think next up on the docket is going to be the XBL semifinals. We're still trying to see the end of Pseudo versus Luke and who's going to face Lazy over there in the XBL after some technical issues. Unfortunately, Dwayne's getting his PC fixed, so he can run that at you. If things run too long, then I'll jump in there and I'll produce so that we can make sure we get everything going underway so we can get the hype for Cup built up. But before Cup, the most exciting thing in the XBL is the World Series, so that's what's on hand right now. So, yeah, it was a great stream. Good as always, Miss. We're going to get these next games lined up and get them put into league news and let everyone know when they're going to come at you. So, until then, everybody stay locked into the Discord. Everybody, good luck in your Cup games. Don't make anyone wait too long, and y'all have fun, and we'll see y'all next time.